if I'm looking to build a relationship, this is you, this is me. Okay, we both need to win, right? Everybody's heard that win-win. Okay, the new paradigm though, that I tell you that we lose deals is that not only do you have to win, and do I have to win, but the end user has to win too. And that's 3 wins in the game, which means you got to get a lot more strategic in how you're thinking. You need to come from the user out. And I see a lot of relationships dissolve because both these guys win, but the end user didn't win. I'll give you an example. It could be, let's say 2 service providers come together and they aggregate each other's service, right? And they say, I'm winning and you're winning, right? But the customer loses because we charge more than we would together because we think it's a great way for us to aggregate our expenses, and therefore we're creating more value and we make the end user pay for it. And the end user, because knowledge is free, they know that they can get it for free, and because they can get it for free, they're like, well, screw that, I'm smart. I've got this ability to acquire any knowledge that I've ever had, right? Because of Google, knowledge is free. So I know what your pricing is online, and I know what Bill's pricing is online, and you guys are trying to screw me, right? And that's where most people do. Because knowledge is free, because of Google, and because of the internet, and because of what stuff is, the end user has to win. And so I've had a lot of people come to Rainmakers and say, hey, I want you to get an override on me selling stuff to your membership. I'm like, hey, it doesn't make sense for me unless the user's not winning, you know, unless my user's winning. So I would rather have a relationship with them me not making any commission or making anything, but creating more value for my end users, my members, because they're going to bring me more members because I've worked really hard to create more value for them. So it's win, win, win. And that is the new paradigm that people have to use to create strategic relationships. Desiree Garcia, our new president, in us are a great example of a strategic relationship where everybody wins. When we did a SWOT analysis of the organization. We did a SWOT analysis of the organization. We found that the weakest places we had in our boards where they didn't really have good teams. Right. And so what we needed is somebody who could teach people how to build teams, and they could facilitate and tighten the tribe. So we created a value for her that we would really help market her ability to be a team builder. She's getting more business because of it. You all right? All right. She's getting more business because of it. And then we're getting stronger teams because of it. And we picked up basically a high-powered executive for really next to nothing as a volunteer employee because she created a huge marketing value out of her. Our members got great value because they're getting better teams and they're learning how to use the model on a higher level. I got to pull myself out of day-to-day operations more. It was win, win, win. That has to be the new paradigm that everything is built on because this end user is so, I mean, not only is it the right thing to do, but this guy is so smart because he's sitting in front of a Google, a computer, one of those BlackBerry. He's got access to all information, and he knows if you're trying to put a deal together that is going to do him no good. He will know immediately. And because of word of mouth, not only we know immediately, he'll tell everybody and his kid sister what you did. Yeah. So you have to start with win, win, win. That's what we do. Those are Rainmaker models.
Power one.
Okay. Yeah, the last thing I would tell you is what people have to understand, and just to kind of sum up, we talk about, I just did an interview for the IBJ, and they were asking me, what is the one thing, if you only could tell people one thing, what's the one thing you should do to really, in your networking, to make sure you're successful? And it's honestly, it's just show up. How much training, Chris, did you get, the first 60 days because you went to so many events? You just learned how to network fast. Yeah, because you learned by modeling. You learned by talking to people who were successful. And so you got to show up because, most people look at a relationship is like, okay, this guy, I'm going to create a relationship with this guy. And if nothing came out of that, then this was negative, because I didn't create a relationship with this individual here. So they must, this must not have been any good, right? But when you meet somebody, you're not really just meeting this person. This relationship means that you're meeting somebody that represents and has a relationship with, hundreds of 50. I mean, if you look at their LinkedIn connection, it could be like 10,000 people that they're 3 degrees of separation from, right? So you potentially in this relationship have a meeting with, you could get a connection with anybody in their network. That means that just showing up the next time could be that one time that breaks through. But the only way to make this random connection happen, the only way you can ensure that it's going to work for you is by showing up consistently in order to get done what you want to get done. I mean, 90% of life is showing up, and it's probably 100% of networking. That make sense? So, I can.
That's why the average can do well at this if they don't overthink it.
Yep.
But if they
just show up.
Down and show up.
Yep. Just put the calendar.
A guy who has some strategic idea in mind before he ever walks through the door. He has a preconceived notion that will cause him to not be as effective.
Yeah, I mean, you could show up first and then get the strategy second. But I'll tell you, it always looks like this. Your business will always be schedule, then it'll be pipeline, and then it'll be sales. There is always this order. So whatever your schedule looks like today will equal what your pipeline is tomorrow, which will equal what your sales are next month. It always goes that way.
So that means if you're going to a lot of events
Now,
then your pipeline will follow.
And then your sales will follow. Yep.
Right.
So the only thing you control is what you're doing, right? That's why if I look at somebody, and I'm looking at their calendar and they've got like 2 networking events in 30 days, and they need their business to cash flow in 90, they're screwed. They're never going to make.
Brooks called Dave Volker, and he had like 21 Rainmaker events on his calendar, right? Which is most people. So that's insane. Mm-hmm. But if you look at that, he's getting. Then he'll pare it down to the ones that fit for him better. But initially, he's going to be out there. Everybody's going to know him, and everybody
it has to do with the frequency.
Well, sure. Yes,
Yep.
sure. Yeah.
Well, and just a quick testimony of that. I mean, Dave went to 21 events, right? I know he just hammered it. Now he had been gone out of the loop for 7 years. I mean, he was one of the first.
He was the
two.
first.
Well, yeah, first. Yeah, but you got to let him and Lorraine argue. But he was 1 or 2, right?
Yeah, yeah.
In the point, but the point of it is that when he's been building his own hub in Zionsville, and he's going to start from the ground up. That guy went from not being plugged in the association to being a hub chair to me training about 20 people in his advisory board meeting that are all now strategic partners to him in less than 60 days because of frequency, because of showing up. And now he's like old hat. I mean, he's like everybody knows him because of frequency.
Yeah.
So that's it, man. That's what we do. So that's really what we got to train. The more members we could teach this, they at least have the tools and the process to help themselves. I mean, what you guys' challenge is doing is, like, I realized about fall of last year that I've been training this in a right-brained way. And then when I saw like Chris and some of our other members that I just said, do this. And they held them accountable to this process. That's the left brain. I mean, most business owners are trained or really successful because they're left brain thinkers, because they think in processes. Do this, then do this, then do this. Well, I saw the patterns in things, and I just thought everybody else did. And now that we train in both sides, and we can show them the way that they need to do it, and it's like Chris says now, just don't overthink and go to a bunch of events, and this stuff will happen. But that doesn't work for most left-brain people. They want to know how to make it work. And when you show them that process and the numbers, they go, oh yeah, that makes sense. I could at least achieve that. Because really, one of the reasons whiteboard works is because if people are asking themselves every day, if they're going to do anything, they're going to go, can I do it? Is it worth it? And if you can't answer that, if they looked at all that and they go, I'm not going to spend 10 hours a month doing that, then it's not worth it and they can't do it, right? But if they look at it and they go, I can spend 10 hours, I mean, that makes sense. Concerted time, do it on Mondays, yeah. Then I'd do that for a 45% increase in my business, then they do it.